Let's bring in Blaine Fowler, the former BYU quarterback, BYUtv analyst. You can watch he and Brian and David and Dave tonight on After Further Review. First question is this. I want to ask the audience this. Which guy to my left is showing off the guns the best?
Brian's got a good show off the gun shirt on.
Blaine wears a shirt that covers his arms a little more.
Yeah, you don't got the.
But Blaine has been working out hard in season, not just off season.
Look at that.
This is a gun show.
We're going for it.
I might leave. I'm embarrassed right now.
That's impressive right there.
I did lift yesterday, but I have nothing like that with you guys.
Oh man.
At 6 o'clock this morning, I was in the gym.
Like some of the freshmen on the BYU football team.
Yes.
I'm struggling. I haven't lifted in like 3 weeks, man.
I can't believe that with those arms.
I can't. I'm telling you. Ask my wife. I haven't been to the gym at all. It's been so sad.
BYU, the defense, Blaine, we've been talking a lot about it. What BYU has to do to stay competitive in the final 6 games. The good news is BYU showed well against UCF, and there's not a world beater on this schedule left. BYU's defense probably has a good chance to keep BYU in these games.
And I think UCF finally has gotten into a rhythm offensively. The problem is BYU plays Utah State, who comes into that game, and their offense had been struggling. But they've been struggling because they had no identity. They were trying to play Chucky Keaton, but Chucky wasn't Chucky. They were trying to tailor an offense to a skill set that wasn't there anymore and confidence that wasn't there anymore. And then all of a sudden, Utah State comes in there and they play great against BYU. Well, that's because they made a quarterback change and because they were comfortable and they had an identity. And look what they did this last week. They look good. And so now they get UCF, who comes in. Their numbers don't look great. But I really felt like UCF was starting to get going and get on a roll offensively coming into that game. Then they come in, they play well, and everybody's going, well, what's wrong with BYU? These are teams that aren't good on offense, and they look great against BYU. You watch, UCF they'll be very sound offensively the rest of this season. And I think it's really difficult when you go into a game and you already have a Dallin Leavitt missing defensively, who is a great run stopper and flies to the football and runs the alley as well as anybody does in that secondary. You already know you're missing him, but you're planning on Craig Bills being a settling force on the defense, and he goes out with a concussion. And you lose Jordan Johnson to a broken arm early in the game. You know, you're already reeling from not having Taysom Hill. You plan offensively to go in there and pound the ball to Jamal Williams, and you lose him in the first series. You lose Craig. You already have Alani Fua out. And so I think the fact that they kind of were stagnant for a period of time and then found themselves in that game and came back and got that thing into overtime and had a chance to win is really remarkable when you think about it. And so I think they learned a lot of things about toughness and those kinds of things in that ball game. And I think that they're going to be better moving forward. And they're going to get, they're going to get Alani back. They're going to get Dallin Leavitt back. I hope they're going to get Craig Bills back. Have we heard anything this week?
We haven't heard yet, no.
And the worry about Craig is as his brother-in-law Dave Nixon told us when we were all here together watching the game, he's had multiple concussions, and so that's the thing you worry about with him.
That's the way he plays. Aggressive.
And he comes up and smacks people.
Oh yeah,
that's what happens.
He'll lay it.
So that would be a devastating loss to lose Craig for an extended period of time, and that would hurt this defense. But I think getting Dallin back, and I think getting Alani back, and that will help. That will help that defense. And I think this is here's the bad thing. This is a Nevada offense that wasn't really hitting on all cylinders early in the season.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, they're starting to score big points again.
It's
like, oh no, Cody Fajardo is, they're all of a sudden they're looking good. They put up 46 against Boise State. Mm-hmm. They lost, but they put up 46. They gave up 51. Colorado State's a really good football team this year.
5-1 right now.
Yeah, and so
number 3 in the top 5.
It's probably the best Colorado State team I've seen in probably 8 or 10 years. And so Colorado State is improved, and they scored 24 on Colorado State. Of course, they give up 31. And this is a team that fought Arizona tooth and nail. They lost 35-28 to Arizona. Those are their 3 losses. Those are 3 pretty good football teams. Yeah. And they put points up on all those teams. So the offense is better. I still think Nevada's defense is suspect. Yeah. So the offense needs to help BYU's defense out a little bit. We know that this is a Nevada offense that's getting some confidence.
He played the other way around.
Yeah, we've been talking about how the defense needs to help the offense, but I think there's something to that.
I think that this is a confident Nevada offense coming in, but a defense that isn't quite sure of themselves. And so I think BYU's defense is going to get tested. And I think BYU's offense needs to come in with a mindset, hey, this Nevada defense hasn't stopped anybody. Let's put some points on the board and take the pressure off of this defense. That's what I think.
That's a great point, because as a defensive player, if we can't stop an offense, if they're just rolling, but our offense isn't doing the same thing, if they're going 3 and out, they're not scoring, pretty soon we're like, the morale, the confidence goes down. We're like, oh man,
we can't make a mistake.
We can't do anything.
And so Nevada. So listen to this number: 462 yards. That's how much they give up per game. That's 103rd in the country in total defense.
No bueno.
There's only 125 teams, guys. They're 103rd in the nation in total defense. So, and in scoring defense, they're a little bit better. They're 26.5. That's not bad. BYU has that pillar of 24. Yep. So they've managed points, but they've given up a lot of yards this season. And
so offense versus offense.
Yeah. Now
that's what everyone wants to watch.
Yeah. And here's what I don't understand. You want to talk about an aberration game? Nevada goes and plays Washington State, who just plays crazy video game football on offense.
Yeah.
And they beat him and hold him to 13. I don't get that because
I watched that game. It was weird.
I watched Connor Halliday all season long. He's one of the premier quarterbacks in the country. He's throwing BBs all over the field. Right. So I have no idea how that happened. But outside of that game, and that was a pass-only team, they've really struggled, and they've struggled to defend the run. And I think if you have a healthy Jamal Williams, and I think that with Jamal out, Algie and Paul stepped up big time and became physical in the run game. I think BYU pounds the rock. I think they play action pass. I think there's big plays to be had over the top against Nevada. And I think BYU's offense can do a lot to help this defense out against a multifaceted pistol offense.
Putting the pressure on the offense.
Which I think is okay. Blaine Fowler joins us on BYU Sports Nation. I think you're right. BYU discovered something, and I mentioned this Friday, that I think it's a little bit like 2010. You had the offense designed one way, and then you realize, you know what? Maybe our personnel's not suited to do that as much now. BYU's strength is those running backs.
Yep.
So use the running backs. It became Brian Correa, JJ DeLuigi. It wasn't sexy. It wasn't flashy like BYU thought Jake Heaps to Ross Opple and Cody Hoppin was going to be. But it became a season in which Brian Logan, that team, went from 1-4 to 7-6 and won a bowl game. Does BYU pound the rock now? You think they'll do that?
And I think they can. I think that they showed that they could do that. Central Florida is a good defensive football team,
really good.
Especially against the run. And I thought a game-changing play was that play where Algie goes around the corner and just rocks. It was
Jordan Ozarite,
just right over the top,
man to man, right there.
Yeah, and then,
eye to eye, who's gonna bring it?
And then in that same drive, Paul Lasike just trucks their safety. And all of a sudden, the physical nature of that game changed.
It's like it clicked in BYU's mind. Like, wait, that's our strength.
Wait, we're good.
Hey, let's go smack these guys in the mouth.
Right.
We can do that. I think the level of the line play jumped a notch when that happened. And you know what? Dominating on the line of scrimmage, part of it's physical. I mean, it's obviously you got to have the strength and the size to be able to play physical. But a big part of it is the mental edge where you just have that attitude that you're just going to go out and you're going to dominate and smack people. Yeah. And I thought when those two plays occurred that everybody's level stepped up a notch, especially on the offensive line. They started to knock people off the football.
Even the water boys got juiced. You could
hey,
Bobby Boucher was over on the sideline going crazy.
And Manasseh Tonga, he went. I mean, if Manasseh gets excited, you know it's big.
Now you know it's legit.
Because that guy trucked a lot of people in his life, right?
Yeah.
He trucked a lot of people, and he got pumped up, and that whole sideline lifted. Now, you'd hope that they could sustain it, you know, all the way to the end of the game, and that was tough. But with the just rash of injuries, that was a tough game mentally for BYU, and I think we're going to see a better team this week. And there's not a team on the schedule left that BYU can't beat.
Yeah, that's the good news to me, is that BYU can compete and win every game left on the schedule.
Absolutely.
Yesterday we talked about, what's BYU's record going to be in the back six? 6-0, 5-1, 4-2. I thought 4-2 is conservative because there's 3 games BYU will win: Middle Tennessee, UNLV, Savannah State. So what did they do in those other 3?
Savannah State is not. They're
not bad. They're horrible. The worst.
They're struggling.
Man, that could be
their division. They're struggling.
That could be a bye week for BYU if there's injuries.
So
I might throw for 400 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
From the booth.
You ate those games up back
from the booth. I might throw for 400.
So what's BYU's record going to be in the back six? What do you think?
I would not be surprised if they went undefeated the rest of the way. I wouldn't.
I said 5-1. Spencer
and I thought that they could go I thought that they could beat Central Florida.
Yeah.
And everybody said no. And
with Taysom Hill, they
barring a ridiculous holding call in the end zone in overtime, they get into a second overtime, and who knows? So they were that close. And I thought that was the most difficult one left on the schedule for them because it was on the road.
Situation
on the road. on the East Coast, big travel,
Good defense.
coming back
Thursday.
first start for Christian Stewart. All the injuries going into it defensively with Levitt and Fu out. I thought going into that, this is the toughest game they have left.
Yes.
If they can win this one, then I was really confident. So would I be surprised if they went in 6-0? No, I wouldn't be surprised. 5-1 is probably a good bet. Oh, we don't bet.
No,
Is it good ice
only
cream
for
bet?
Only for
Idea?
gushers.
Yeah.
5-1 is probably a good idea, but 6-0 will not surprise me. They're capable of winning every game the rest of the way, and they've got to have that physical, nasty mindset. And I think that offensively, now that Robert and I's had a game under his belt to call plays for Christian Stewart, he has a better understanding of what his strengths are and where to put him in situations to win. And so I think that we'll see Robert adjust this week and be better at managing the game for Christian. I think Christian's going to be a lot more comfortable. We're not going to have a quarter of them just trying to figure out what in the world they're doing, because that's what the first
That
quarter
first
was.
quarter, they had 2 yards in the first quarter.
That's what they're just trying to figure
2
out.
yards?
What can we do with this guy? What can the defense do without all the guys? The first quarter was a, hey, let's figure this thing out quarter. Well, they don't need that now. Now they got to figure it out. So this is going to be a better team moving forward. And 6-0 is not out of the question. 5-0 is very realistic.
I
Or
think
5-1.
defensively, Coach Howe has to do the same thing, given the injuries and
That's a great point.
and okay, now I got to know how these new guys are, right? I mean, great thing is I got to see him in real time, real action, and not just in practice like I've been seeing for these last couple months. But I can see what they've done, where their strengths are, where their weaknesses are, and then now you have to kind of taper or taper.
Taper.
And
Do it all.
Yeah,
Taters.
and be very custom to your play calling to fit your strengths of your new guys.
Yeah, he might go, hey, you know, Harvey, I brought him off the edge a couple times. He's not that good at that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Or he may be great at that. You know what?
Right.
We need to do that more. That's something I didn't, now we saw him in a game. He's really good. Or, hey, you know what? His man coverage in nickel was better than I thought it was going to be. We can do that a little bit more, so we can bring some other guys. So Nick also has things on film now where he can go back and say, hey, things look pretty good. I think we can do these things. I'll have a better idea now.
And let's bring in one of the starting field corner for BYU, Michael Davis, live after practice. Michael, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
We're doing
just tired over here.
We're doing well. You're tired?
Yeah, just really tired.
How'd practice go?
It's pretty hard. It's pretty good. We fixed some things that we need to fix, and everything's looking good so far.
We were just talking about the performance that you guys put up against UCF. Encouraged despite injuries, played a solid game against the Knights. Now you prepare for Nevada. What are some of those things that you've tried to fix in practice?
It's just execution. When it comes down to it, it's all about execution. Like the defense, Coach Howe knows that as a defense as a whole, we're able to do anything we can do. But it's just that when we don't execute, other teams are able to run on us, pass the ball on us, and it's just a lack of communication.
With some of the injuries, has the defense been tailored to this group of guys, or is it the same defense?
It's still the same defense. We still try hard. We're still working very hard as it is. Even though Craig was out, Don Levitt was out, we're still grinding.
How does the defense change without maybe Craig Bills? We'll see if he plays Saturday, but how does the defense adjust without Craig Bills?
It's a lot harder as it is, but then he just requires us to just try a lot harder than usual.
Hey, Mike, the first couple of games, you guys looked really good as a secondary. It looks like you guys were executing at a higher level than these last few games. With the exception of Central Florida, you guys really had a good turnaround. What do you think the differences were for the first couple of games of the season compared to these last couple of games where you guys have struggled as a secondary?
It's really like a lack of communication. That's the biggest thing right there. Like we're not communicating all across the board or all across the field, and then that shows on film. It shows on the field. So
I'm gonna kind of break this down for the fans. So the free safety or the cat safety usually makes a play call, and then based off of that call, the linebackers and the corners then can know what route know what coverage they're in, their assignments, and if that doesn't come through clearly, you guys are kind of just floating there, not really knowing what's going on.
Usually, as Coach Howe wants all the defense to call the plays. So usually the free safety will call the plays, but he also wants the corners and the outside backers and the middle linebackers to call the formations and all the plays.
Mike, going into last week's game, Nick Howell talked a lot about dirty eyes and felt like the game before there was too much looking back in the backfield and having eyes in places where they weren't supposed to be. That seemed much improved against Central Florida. As you guys had a chance to look at the film, was it improved, and was Coach Howell happy with the cleanup? Well, I guess we put some Visine in those dirty eyes. Did it look that way on film?
Yeah, we improved in our eyes and everything, but Coach Howell was still mad that we still had dirty eyes on the field. Like we were still looking in the backfield when we were supposed to. But we improved, though.
Michael Davis is on BYU Sports Nation right after practice. I know the last 3 games you guys have given up 30+. The goal is under 24. What's the conversation like with the defense as you try and hold Nevada to less than 24 this Saturday?
It's all about just run defense. Like I said, just as long as you play great run defense and we're able to play great pass defense, that's when it all comes down to it.
What kind of blow was it to lose Jordan Johnson to a broken arm?
It was devastating. I wasn't expecting that. But hopefully JJ can come back for another year and just hope to see him next year.
That would be like the 9th year for Jordan Johnson, it feels
he would start growing gray hair.
All indications are that his career is over, but I'm sure they'll try and apply for something and see what they get.
Yeah. Hopefully they can get that. Mike, we had talked earlier today just about the scheme and differences between a zone corner and a man corner. What would you like to play? Obviously, we know you guys are in a zone scheme, but if you could choose, what would you rather play, man or zone?
Probably man. I'd rather much play man.
Why would you play man over zone?
Because I feel like, like working with Robertson, Daniel, and all that, I feel like at the line, I'm able to control more of the receiver, more of the route, than if I were to play off man. You get what I'm saying?
Right, gotcha.
Yep.
So,
Let's finish with this, Mike. We've asked you this before, but of the guys that are healthy, who's the fastest guy on the team?
no, you know what I mean? It should be me,
That's right. Of course. That's right. You better say you.
Who's second?
Pretty sure Tatum. Tatum's quite an athlete. He's right up there.
What about Devon Blackman?
Devon Blackman, he's fast. He's fast.
That's the race. That's the race I want to see. I want to see Devon and Mike in a race.
I want to see Rob, and Devon in a race.
That'd be great. Who wins?
Who wins? I know you're gonna say you. So who wins? Who wins between Devon and Rob?
It's hard to say. Because Devon's quick. And then Rob has that top end speed. So it'll be.
And I just want to throw Tijan Karoma in just for fun, to see how badly he gets beat down. That's all. Just to see how badly he gets beat down.
Tijan's gonna beat you down.
But then here's the thing: after the race, he gets to punch anybody he wants in the face.
And he's gonna punch you, Blaine.
Yeah, he for sure will.
Michael Davis, we appreciate the time. Good luck this Saturday against Nevada. Tijan Karoma. What in the world?
You literally lose.
I just want to see some. I want to see. But at the end, he gets to choose whoever he wants to punch, and then let's see who wins. Right?
That would be fun.
Quotations
fun.
Go ahead and win.
Blaine, we appreciate the time. We'll check you out on After Further Review tonight.
All right, guys. See ya.
Blaine
I'll see
Fowler.
you.
Yeah.